Oh, welcome back again to Motor City Aquatics. Sorry for that little gap right there. I didn't realize that it was up and running just yet, and I had a thought. So I was kind of lost in thought for a moment. Yes, I was. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully, they're doing better than yesterday. It's not the sugar-free ones, but they had a big sale on them. So my wife got me a 24 pack. I actually felt like I was drinking again, but monsters. It's crazy. Yes, sir. So, how is everyone doing out there today? Still in you, still in your. What's up? How are you doing, sir? It's good to see you. Good to see you. I was supposed to do some deliveries today, and I said, no, any 399. What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, I was supposed to deliver some CPDs today and some shrimpies. I might do it tomorrow. If I do it, I'm gonna have to pull them tonight. I'm gonna have to call my buddy because I have to go work in Ohio again tomorrow. So I have to go install a 220. I have to run 220 from a panel to a dishwasher in a building that we just worked in. I guess they don't have 220 to where the dishwasher is going to be, and they're having a walkthrough and inspection on Tuesday. And if it is not wired up and ready to go on Tuesday for them to be able to push the button and see that it comes on and operates, she will not be able to get her walkthrough. So it's kind of on my shoulders. I mean, it's not. If I want to do it, I'll do it. But if not, they're gonna have to figure it out trying to find an electrician to come and do it. So I'm gonna give it a go, and I'll go look at it tomorrow and see if I want to mess with it. If not, then I'll just pass it on and let somebody else do it. I'm not really pressed to do it. It's I don't know. Just sometimes it's headaches, to do stuff in big buildings like that, especially when you don't have all the right stuff. But I mean, it doesn't take long. And here's the other thing: I'm not getting paid, it's for a friend. So I'm not getting paid what I should be getting paid because it's electrical. And he knows this. So he kind of, always asks me to do all of his electricals. So, but it is what it is. I think starting, well, hopefully next week we start the new building for the owner of the building we're working on now. He actually came to me and my partner and asked us if we want to start working for him, taking on these jobs because he's getting behind. So, I mean, the pay is really good. So, he better get on the ball and start returning phone calls or I'm going back to the union. I mean, I'm going back anyways, but just right now, things are slow in this crap weather. It's slow. So that's why I kind of don't do things too cheap in the cold weather because there's really no work. Sorry for all that bouncing. I was like stuck in a rut or something. Luke was just down here playing games and he had everything set. He's not feeling good. I'm not feeling good. Last couple of days I've been coughing, had this itch in my throat, so I figured it was allergies. Last night Luke said he didn't feel good, so I gave him an allergy pill. And then today he got up and then said he didn't feel good. So Mama gave him something. I don't know. And then I told him to come down here and sleep in our bed because it's a king size and the big screen, and he just really likes laying in our bed. So he came down here and actually slept till 7 o'clock tonight. He just got up a little bit ago, so he's not feeling too swell, not feeling swell at all. But I'm sure it's just the weather. Hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. What's it supposed to be? To 45 tomorrow. So things are going to be up there and kind of warm. Sorry, I'm just looking up at the. I'm really trying to make a decision here with the CPD hookup, the egg catcher that I have. Some days it works really good. I don't know. Some days it doesn't. I don't know if it's not or if it's just the only thing I don't like about this catch cup thing that I have hooked up in here is I don't take it out. It's not meant to be, it's not made to be taken out and cleaned and everything, but you have to because it's like filling up with, poop and everything and it sticks in there and so it's I mean, it's like having the cups, but the cups I had to take the cups out every day. So the cups got cleaned every day. This way, and I don't know what it is. The CPDs are like staying. I think I'm gonna have to bring where they're hiding over here again because this is where it used to be, and they all hung out over here. So I think I might have to move it because they're all like chilling over there under a rock with all the plants on it. So I need to make an adjustment. So I mean, I got a ton of eggs yesterday. It was later in the day, but like today, I really didn't. It's not too much. I haven't siphoned them out yet, but I usually get probably around 40 or 50 eggs a day. And today, I don't know, maybe I don't know. I haven't even taken them out yet, but from the looks of it, I don't know, maybe like 8 or something. So there's some in there now just goofing around in the moss and stuff, but I don't know. For one, I don't like the look of it on the front of my tank because it hangs off and everything. But two, it enables me to keep my hands out of the tank. But I don't know. It's just not grown on me. I tried it before and I kind of gave up on it. So, I try it again and it does all right. But it just seems like I need to put their little hangout area back over here because I moved it over there. And I need to put it back over here so they just swarm and swim around this area and they'll go in that moss. And another thing, I probably should have had it a little lower too, but if you just got to be able to get them to go up in there and lay the eggs. So it be what it be. But it works pretty darn good. So, Fish Family, what's happening? It works pretty. That's probably what time I'm going to be to work. So they text me if I could do 9:30. So now let's make it 10:30. Head down. Okay, so what if we leave around 10? Will that work? See a couple about giving them a quote on their basement at 9. I can head down there after that. Oh, so now we'll have basement work. That's beautiful. And again, for Tropic, what's up? And for everyone who doesn't know, if you watched the stream yesterday, we now have a business phone number for Motor City Aquatics. So if you're in Michigan, and want to pick some stuff up, or when it gets warmer, you want to order stuff, that's cool. But instead of me having a web page and everything, I just had an extra number put on my phone. My buddy came over yesterday and did it. So now, you text me whatever, anything, and we can go from there because I get people that message me and say, hey, I'd like to order something, but how do I order from you? And it's like, yep, I know I took it down, but it's just it wasn't really doing what I wanted it to do. I mean, it just wasn't up to par on how I was feeling. So oops, I'll put it up there. 734-928. No, 928-8880. Nope, that's an I. 8880. All right. There you go. Hold on a second. Sorry, my phone's getting a little busy. Oh. I send people, I send people stuff on their phone and stuff, people that I know that want to like DIY or have somebody do something to their property or their home or whatever. I'm like, hey, here's how it's done, because a lot of people don't know. And, I'm one of them sometimes. So I sent them to him and I sent it to him. There's a design that they put on a ceiling. It's kind of like popcorn ceiling, but it's not popcorn ceiling. It's a design ceiling. And I sent it to him, showing him how the design is put on the ceiling. And he just messaged me back. He's like, dude, is that really how they put it on there? Yes. People ask me all the time, and I'm like, look, I can't explain it. I can explain it, but you're not going to know visually when I explain it to you. So I'll just send you a video. So, but my plecos over here that I pulled out of the tank, they're good to go. They can actually be shoot, I could probably take them to the pet store now because they're eating green beans. They're eating I don't feed pellets. Well, I've dropped it in there. I actually probably should. Let me drop a little chunk. I started feeding these. This is like the only thing that I know a pleco will eat. Look at $6. What $6 when I get green beans, cans of green beans for 69 cents a piece. 69 cents. So I can almost get like 8 cans of green beans, 9 cans of green beans compared to this. And I can feed these guys for a week off of 1 can of green beans. It's not worth it buying this stuff. It's just not. And then, you get the little stuff that floats to the bottom. That's it. I mean, even tropical color granules, that's a pretty good one to feed, to give them something to snack on and stuff. But what my thing is all I'm trying to do is give them, a bunch diversity of foods. So when people get them, because I know a lot of people think that this is the food. You gotta get Pleco wafers. No, you don't. Pleco wafers to me are trash. I mean, I've had Plecos that eat this stuff, but I'm telling you right now, the only reason I add this and they don't even eat this compared to the other stuff, I give them the other stuff for a little extra, additives in their diet, but they get a lot from the green beans. They grow really, really fast. I have tons of wood in there, so they eat wood like they're meant to do. Algae, because I turn the lights on at probably 10 o'clock in the morning to make those tanks good, grow algae. So, 40 baby plecos don't run out of food and they die, because I'd rather let them grow really strong off of natural foods than put it in myself. So like the next batch that comes out, they're not going to go in that tank. They'll go in this tank because the glass in here is really covered with good algae, green algae. And if I put them in there, that tank's been destroyed now for, I don't know what, 3 weeks. Well, there was 42 plecos when I pulled them out and they had their little pouches, their little bellies. And then I found 3 dead behind the heater. So let's just say minimum 35. So there's 35 plecos in there because I've never found a dead body but those 3. But just in case there's some under the moss or something, which I doubt. So 35 that are in a 13.5 gallon that have, like I said, been decimating every bit of algae in there. Plus I have, I don't know, probably 40 Blue Dream shrimps in there, CPD babies. So the next batch will have to go to the next tank so they can start tearing it up. Don't get shadow banned. What is shadow banned? Do you own a ghost shrimp? Ghost shrimp. I used to have ghost shrimp. I do not have ghost shrimp anymore. Nope. Ghost shrimp are real cool. Yep, I haven't had ghost shrimp in quite a while. I just got done with. I just had to think, did I do all my water over there? I've been doing water. Now I'm mixing. I have to go over there in a second and check my salt water. Yeah, see, ghost shrimp are more of a feeder, which you probably know. I mean, you can have them as pets, um, but you want it to be like a shrimp only. Don't put any other shrimp in there because they're really, really, really aggressive, and they have a lot of babies. I'm almost positive the only way that you can get the babies to hatch or them to have hatch babies is to make put salt in the water. Uh, I think that's what does it. Because I used to keep them. I used to get them, but I sold them. So, uh, yeah, that's how I used to keep the ghost shrimp. But they're more of a feeder shrimp. They're a good cleaner shrimp, really good cleaner shrimp. Yeah, you can get them. I send them to a lot of people for cleaners. But yeah, the ghost shrimp. The biggest thing, I get them in, 400 or 500 at a time, and people want them for feeders. So it's kind of like you have ghost shrimp, you have you know goldfish, feeder goldfish. You got the little guppy feeders. There's a bunch of different feeders. But it is what it is. Whether you like it or not. Sometimes one of them is has to be the feeder in the family. Hold on one second. Coming. All right. Here we go. It's almost there. Um. Yeah. It's salt water. Mixing the salt water. It takes a little longer than the other stuff. I try to get as close as possible with it. I don't want to, um, let's overdo it, because then if you put too much salt, then you got to run more RO, and it takes a while to dilute salt water. I mean, it's just not worth it. So you just have to take your time, do it little by little. The thing is it's like 3 cups per 5 gallons. But when I do water changes, I don't really pay attention. I mean, I'll know, like let's say like last time I did almost 20 gallons, but I don't know what was left in the bucket, of my mixed stuff already. So um if I don't know, then um I just fill it all the way back up with RO. I test it then. And so I put 6. How much salt have I put in there? 3 cups, 6 cups. And then I just put, I don't know, about a cup and a half in there, maybe 2 cups. Because it was like 120 or 1.20. I wanted it at 1.20 3-ish to 4-ish, so we'll get it in there. Fathom Aquatics, what up? What's this? I don't know why, but this video made me think of a video game called Seaman. It's a game where you can raise virtual mutant fish that interact with the player, and you can teach your fish tricks. Oh, that's cool. I actually, what RO system do you use? 1 second, I'll go look. I actually use a pump too, a special pump. I'll take a picture of it so I can get the name over here. Luke, actually, my son actually has a game on. I think it's on not his Game Boy. Is that thing he's got that game. Well, anyways, there's a fishing game where you got a fishing pole and you can go fishing out of a boat and everything. It's really, really cool. So, but I'm sure that thing's really. Let me go take a picture of this so I can tell you what it is. I'll show you what it is. All right. I'm back. Got them pictures, and I added so little. I was like 1.022 or something. So I'm right there. So I just put a little splish. All right, my RO system is Aquatic Life. It's just the 3. It's not the 4, it's just the 3. And I run 2 carbons. And then that the green one at the end. God, it's so expensive. But that's how I run it. It seems to work really good that way. And a lot of times, the carbon ones last a long, long time. Having the other one, it's usually the one that you change a lot, but it actually lasts a long time. And then, so I have the 3 filters, right? But then I also have a thing called a Smart Buddy. It's a pump. It's an air pump, or it's not an air pump. It's a pump for water. What it does is it builds the pressure up so I can get the same amount of RO as I do wastewater. Because if I just run my water pressure through that, you get like a 4-to-1. So I'll get 4 gallons of wastewater to 1 gallon of RO water. Well, that's just a waste of water. So this pump, or this pump buddy, what it does is it pressurizes it differently. Smart Buddy. And and it, you know, the pressure builds builds pressure up more or whatever, but it enables you to get, it's almost 1 for 1. So I get 5 gallons of RO to 5 gallons of wastewater. So usually, well, I can fill that container up over there. It's a 25-gallon container. So about 3.5 hours, usually about 3.5 hours, I can get it. It's right around 20 gallons in 3.5 hours. So I have 2 containers. They look like the trash cans from a baseball field. They're the thin ones. And I fill those both up with about 20 gallons. So the back one is RO only, and I'm going to run the hose down here in a second. Once this is done mixing, and I'm going to top these tanks off while we're down here. And the front one, it's RO, but then I put my salt in it and I mix it for the salt water. So I'm going to do 5 gallons today, because last week I did close to 20 gallons. And I'm dealing with that algae stuff that I let get out of hand too much. So water changes. You know how that goes. And, it worked great last time. I don't leave my light on long. I don't know, maybe 7-8 hours. Probably just cut it out sooner every day, but that's what I use. And here, I'll show you a picture of it. It's dusty. It's been there, I don't know, 4 years, and I think it's getting a little weak now. So this is what it looks like. It's a white box, and then it's got the 6 outlets on it, inlets and outlets on it. And so it has, the water goes in the end of it. When I turn the water on, I run it in, it goes into that pump, and then it goes through all these other parts in that, because that pump's got to be plugged in. So when it starts to, pressurize and do all this stuff, and then it shoots it up through, and then I think it comes back into it or something. I can't remember where all the hoses go, but then you have one that goes into the sink, which is your wastewater, and then any other one I have run around to the tank. So I'll fill up a tank and I'll run my alarm for 3 hours, and then I'll scoot it to the other tank and run it for 3 hours there. So, and my filters last a long time, because I don't have bad water here. It doesn't have a bunch of crap. Like, I cut that membrane open after 4 or 5 years, and it still looked almost brand new. I know it catches the microscopic stuff, but it was like still white. So, I mean, it wasn't even bad shape. So, all right, now give me well, here, let me hook up the hose. And then I'll explain this. So I have my RO system, right? I have this is rolled up, and it's tied to it's not tied, but it hooks up on the joist up there in the ceiling. But I just have this just 1/4-inch tubing I got at the store for a refrigerator, and I have the spout on the end of it, and all I do is I hook it to the tank that I want to fill up, and make sure it's turned on. Or, I mean, I could turn it on later, but I have to go over there now, hook it up to my pump, and pump it over here. Give me 2 seconds. upstairs. Go on. All righty, so that's that. So look, it's already starting to spit out. So what happens is I have a pump. Go upstairs. Go on. I have a pump. It's my dog. I have a pump, like a sump pump. And let me set my alarm now so I don't overflow that and be a laughing stock on here. You're fine. Ain't got nothing to do with you. So like when I want to fill these tanks up, I drain these tanks into the floor drains of my home. I snaked out all my floor drains. They're all perfect. Everything runs like you wouldn't believe. So all I do is like right here underneath the carpet tile, I just lift the carpet tile up. No one knows it's there but us. I lift it up. I take the cap off and I drop the hose in here and I drain everything down into that carpet or into the drain because it's rainwater. It's not sewage, it's rainwater. So that runs right out and goes out to the road. Well, then to fill it, that pump I have over there, I came up with this hookup at my buddy's store. We put these things together and I screwed on it. And then I have two of those hoses, the really long, what were they, 25 footers. So I run 50 foot all the way back here. And then I fill it into a bucket. Because I don't hook it up to the sink, the faucet anymore. So I put a 5-gallon bucket under my sink. I turn everything on full blast. I drop the pump in there and pump it, and I fill my stuff up right out of the tap. But the hose is about 60, 70 foot. And what it is on the end of it is another connector that hooks to that pump. And all you do is you twist it on, and then I just chuck it into that 30 gallons of water, pure RO water, and I plug it in, and it just pumps. Well, it has the strength. You have to have something that's strong enough that'll push through 70 feet of 1/4-inch tubing, air tubing, the water tubing, and then have it come out at a good pace to where it's not, shooting out like a bullet, but it's not, shooting out too slow. I don't need to be here all day. And look, not for nothing, but putting water in slow is one thing, yes, but you don't have to drip your water into a tank for shrimp. I guarantee you do not have to drip your water into a tank for shrimp when you're doing a water change. You don't want it to go fast, but I mean, I'm just rolling it in off of a 1/4-inch hose, so it's totally fine. There's a lot of myths out there. There's a lot of sorry about that. There's a lot of myths and things that people say and to scare you and hold on, let me see if I can get this out of the way. There we go. So it's like, of course you can't, it's not good just to dump it in kind of maybe like you do a fish tank. But the biggest thing is make sure all your water's, room temperature. That's all the same temperature. Now, if the tanks were hotter than the water I'm putting in, of course, you don't want to put it in real fast. You want to go slow. But if it's all the same temperature, all I'm doing is putting RO in there. So what I'm doing is bringing the TDS level down. That's all I'm doing. And I'm not bringing it down like 30, 20%, 10 points. It might come down 2. It's literally such a little amount to top your tank off, for your shrimps. So, I mean, there's a lot of stories and nightmares out there that people say, oh, don't do this. This will kill your shrimp. Well, it'll kill anything if you think about it. Shrimp are very sensitive, but they're sensitive to certain things. Let me think if I could think of any that they're sensitive to. You can go down in TDS quickly, but not up. If you go up quickly in TDS, you can shock your shrimp and kill them. It's just when you do top offs, if you're not dumping in stuff that's going to raise all the numbers, then you're good. I'm just putting in pure water with nothing in it. It's just pure RO. It's a 0. There's nothing in it. So I'm not putting anything in to run any numbers up. All I'm going to do, just think of this. Think that your tank has ammonia in it. You do a 50% water change, and then you just put RO water in there to dilute it. You just want to dilute it. Instead of putting chemicals in there, you just put RO water in there and it dilutes everything, right? Well, it's kind of topping off. I went, when I go 6 months with no water change, and then I did a water change, and I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go bare bottom and then put my substrate in these containers. Like Rob used to do from Flip Aquatics. It's just, for what I'm doing, I'm just trying to take these shrimp to another level, breed them out to another level. I don't have 66 shrimp tanks anymore either. So it's not a huge ordeal for me to sit here and pick and choose what I want to do. But the top off thing is the good thing. Like I said, I went 6 months top offs, just top offs. And this one red tank right here, I went from 3 to 70, 80 shrimp in here. I mean, overnight. That's how fast they bred. And, you get people that do YouTube videos that says, how many shrimp will you get in 30 days? That's the name of their stream. And then they're going to give you an answer to that. Well, their answer is incorrect because no one knows. It doesn't matter. No one knows. Your shrimp can shut down. I mean, I don't know how many people on YouTube that say, man, my shrimp haven't done anything for 6 months. Of course, they don't want to. There's something about the water, the temperature, the pressure in the air. Something's going on that they're like, look, dude, you're not making no money off us for a little while. We're going on strike. That's just how it is. You could do a million water changes, like they say, oh, well, do a small water change, but with cooler water. Like you're trying to get plecos to breed or something, and, I've about tried it all. But the best thing that I found is leave them alone. You could more or less stop feeding. Just stop feeding, because I try to tell everybody, if your shrimp are in a tank and they're hiding, one, you should do a water change. 2, they're hiding because there's so much water or so much food in the tank, like on plants and substrates and algae and stuff. They don't need your food. They don't need any of your food. And that's where a lot of people don't get it, and I didn't get it for a long time. And look, I'm not going to say I still don't sometimes overfeed, but now I have bare bottom tanks. But that's the thing we need to watch is you need to watch your shrimp. More or less, you need to watch your shrimp. I mean, you can get a shrimp that dies and gets a red head, pink head, whatever they call it, and they'll say, oh, it's bacterial. Or your freaking shrimp just died. Could be old, might not have. I mean, shrimp, it could have died. Could have just died. So the best thing to do is do a small water change. Let's say do, 20%. If you see a shrimp die, take it out, do 20%. Now, if you see another shrimp die, then you have to ask yourself, okay, what have you done lately? What's been done lately? Have you stuck your hands in there? Did you stick something dirty in the water that had something on it? A spoon, a vial, glass vial that you're doing drops. Hopefully no one's sticking that in there, or even anything that touches it. When you suck out water in something to squirt water into a vial, don't squirt that water back in there because it can have splashes from, it can have contaminants on it. Littlest thing can kill your shrimp and fish. See, now look, that whole time it was filling up. So now I just unclip it, bring it to the next. So my water changes are as simple as 1, 2, 3. I sit here and talk, have conversations. They fill up. And look, I had like 8 seconds left. Now it'll go off. Now start it back up 10 minutes. So, but almost every time, like when I made all these, I never made a story about that since. When I made all these bare bottom, I had a fish die in my solo AC tank. Okay. Now, I've studied and I've done a lot and I've listened to a lot of people, and some of the guys that I really respect, they're not here in America. They're in other countries that have been doing this they've been doing it, probably 30 years. And I like their attitudes and I like how they talk. And especially when it comes to someone that's selling a product, they say, if you do something to your tank that's kind of drastic, but it really shouldn't hurt any of them. And let's say 1 dies, maybe 2 dies. Well, those are the ones you don't want anyways, because there's a good chance that those were really weak. And if I mail them to somebody and sell them to somebody and they have them and 2 days later, they message me back and say, dog, what's up, man? Man, you just charged me $100 a shrimp and they're dead. Well, okay, but they showed up alive. But the thing is were they strong enough to go into are your water parameters the same as mine? Did you drip acclimate them? But were they strong enough to go into your water system, into the way you keep your stuff? So that's why I like to, hey, if 1 dies, it dies. Because guess what? I didn't have to send it to a customer and it died. But I lost only 1 shrimp doing all these tanks. What was it? 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 tanks I did, bare bottomed them all, and I only lost 1. That was it out of all of them. And you guys seen, I vacuumed it all out, put all brand new water in, put these cups with the substrate in, and chucked all the shrimp right back in it. And here we are. I mean, they're just as lively and as happy as possible. The tanks have beautiful green algae on them. I mean, way better algae than they did before. I didn't have brown algae. I had green algae, but it's way thicker now. And they just feed and feed and feed. But they're just beyond happy, But, like this tank, the purple tank, I have to be careful on how much I feed because there's only, like 4 in there. So I can't feed like I do the other tanks. So you have to feed very little. And if they don't eat it after a while, you got to take it out. So, and the best of it is I shouldn't even feed it at all because there's such little amounts of shrimp in there that they're not even eating all the algae that's on the glass. I could never feed this tank for like 6 months and it'd be totally fine. They wouldn't get sick. They wouldn't die, nothing. So, but yeah, that's it. They're just, the Solo Aces even had the babies because I told you guys when I was doing the changes, I was like, oh, these females are pregnant. Be careful with them. Make sure your water temperature is the same. Test your water that you're taking them out of and make it the exact same, putting it back in, meaning temperature, pH. Now, this is with me. A TDS drop is less detrimental that I found than a fast raising TDS. So I can drop their TDS like that and they won't die. But if I raise their TDS like that fast, they can, have some losses. So I have a tank full of babies over there and it went through took out all the substrate, cleaned everything. I didn't clean the glass and stuff and I only rinsed out the sponge filter, but I siphoned out everything, got rid of everything, and put it all back together, and they had their babies. So now my tank's full of babies. So, you just got to take your time. That's it. Just take your time. Don't hurry it up, just like any of it. Any of the animals we deal with, it's just all about your speed. And that means not having any, none whatsoever. Only Oscars, welcome. And Fathom Aquatics, how are you? You used to pick up a float valve for the 1/4-inch hose. Float valve. What is that? So the water can't run backwards in it? Is that what that is? Yeah, let me know if that's what that is. Because are you talking over here like a shut-off valve? Oh, I actually have one of them. I never thought about that, but I don't know if it would work. Oh, did I take it back to my buddy's store? I think I did. It had that. It was a hook on too. It's the eShops. Yeah, I bet you I could have put it on these tanks. When it lifts up, it would shut it off. But here's the problem I ran into. And I tested it, and it scares me every time. I have these pumps. I have that one pressurized pump for the RO, and then I have this pump, this sump pump that's blowing this water through all the way. If that ball was to raise up and shut it off, what would happen with all this pressure building up? I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of pressure. Would it just sit there and just keep? It's not like that pump's going to shut off because it's got some kind of safety switch. It hits pressure and it shuts off, and this can't stop on one then continue to the other, like a water fill station that I've always wanted to hook up, stuff like that, so it will shut the water off once it gets to a certain, but it might not work with the amount of pressure. Yeah. So see, that's the only, that's why I've never put one on. I had one. He gave me one. It was all acrylic. Oh, it was nice. But I never put it on any of the containers over there or anything, because when the water was running one day, I lifted it up and it started to spit it past. I was like, this thing's got way too much pressure. I'm not going to do it. So I never did it. I don't mind this. The only thing is you cannot forget to set an alarm. You cannot. And a backup alarm is just as well, because I don't know how many times, like, somebody will call me. It happened earlier. The alarm went off. I was filling up the tanks. Alarm went off. Is my business partner. I shut the alarm off. I talked to him for a minute. I said, okay, set it down. Now I forget that the alarm went off. I come down here, and I had plenty of time. I mean, it could have went another probably 45 minutes. But I came downstairs. I was like, oh, shit. I think the water's running. I came down. I heard the water running. I was like, okay, I have plenty of time. But the ability to walk away and now it won't flood. Now, in that room where I have it, the water pitches toward the drain. But still, let it run for, 4 or 5 hours, just dumping over the side of a, 30-gallon container. It's not going to trickle. It's going to just keep flowing over the everything. The washer everything gets soaked, and they got to get fans out and dry the floor, and it's crazy. It's probably the only thing that really keeps me from really busting everything out and getting really big time like I had it was the water hookup and everything, and overflows. And I would just have to have a system, because I'd love to be able to plug it in for it to fill up, like at my buddy's shop, and I don't know if he unplugs it, but it's and it would shut off, and I could come home and never have to worry about it overflowing. I mean, that would be a great feeling. But with the pressure that I run for what I do, it's just not it creates too much nightmares. Too many nightmares. Plus, if you're doing stuff, which you should be, every day you should be in your area where your fish are, whatever you have, shrimps, big fish, nanofish, whatever. it's the most important thing. The only way you're going to find out if something's wrong with what you're keeping is if you do your due diligence, and it has to be every day. Because if we skip today and come down here tomorrow and we find a dead pleco, we're like, well, when did it die? I don't know. Did you come down here yesterday? No. So it could have died yesterday. It could have died today. Oh my God. Well, if it died today, that's been 2 days that this thing could have been in here dead. Now, how much is the ammonia up? If it's sick, were things eating off of it? Are they sick now? Now I have to watch and make sure nothing else dies, because, then I'm going to have to put in medication for their stomachs. And so, there's 2 tanks down over there. And look, alarm just went off. And, so it gets to the point to where it's a must. But what's 15 minutes a day? What I usually do is when I get home from work, I come down here, get my work clothes off and stuff, get my shower clothes on, get ready to go take a shower. Then I look at all the tanks and see what I have to do. I feed, I do everything so it's out of the way. And then I go take a shower. I don't have to worry about the food smelled for the saltwater tank, nothing. And then I go take a shower, and then I can come down and enjoy them. But then I can really inspect and make sure everything's fine. But it's just, what and if I want to take out of the tank, to sell and move, and all sorts of stuff like that. But the daily grind of coming in here and looking is so important. So important. Because, you just don't know. Now, if you catch it that day, if something dies that day, then you can inspect. Test your water. The biggest thing, here's the thing. You test water all day long. But here's the question I have for you. If something dies in your tank, why wouldn't you just change the water instead of testing the water? If you really think about it and you go, oh my gosh, I got to test the water. What do you got to test the water for? Shouldn't you be running for a bucket to drain and get fresh water and put it in? If you have to, do the water change and keep a little bit in a catch cup and do your work later on it. But the biggest thing that should be done is a water change. Because why are you thinking, hey, there's something in my water, or is there something in my water? Well, if things are dying, there's a really good chance there's something in your water. So instead of testing to see what it is, the water change should be done first. And like I said, if you're really concerned about it, drain the water out, keep it to the side, test it after. But the minute you get everything rolling, that fresh water is going in there to dilute whatever in there, ammonia, anything. Now you just gave them that many more minutes to revive and stay alive than it would be if you were sitting here racking your brain, and 45 minutes to an hour and a half later, you're like, I just can't figure it out. I can't figure out what's wrong with my water. Why did it die? And they're still in whatever they're in. So, always do your water change first and go from there, but do your tests. Do your tests afterwards. But 6 months I went top off, no water changes. And then I check all the tanks to check, because there's so many things you learn over time. But if you don't do a water change, you don't get rid of any of the minerals. Think about it. So if I just keep dumping RO water in there, then all I'm going to do is keep bringing the TDS down as it rises. If, I throw little baby powders in there, or, little itty bitty pieces of shrimp food, or, whatever that raises the TDS, my RO is just going to keep diluting that and bringing it back down where I want it. And guess what? You can test for minerals all day. It's the exact same minerals. Same thing. Now, with the Sulawesi fish or shrimps, let's say, I have a gallon of evaporated water. Well, if I just go get a gallon of RO and I just put that in there, now it's going to dilute the pH and it's going to take that down. And that's, you do not want to drop your pH in Sulawesi water. You want 180 TDS and you want, a pH of 8 to 8.2. And you want to keep them between 80 and 82. So if you can do that constantly, all you got to do, test your TDS and go, oh, no problem. Just fill her up with RO, fill her up with RO, fill her up with RO. It's all you got to do. And for some reason, if you got a spike, it's, let's say you dumped water or food in by accident, it always happens, whatever it is, anything. You can do your water change, but when you put the RO in, no matter what it is, I take these containers and I'll fill this up with RO, right? And I'll even put a lid on it and I'll let it sit. But you fill this up pure RO. Then you put nothing in this but pH. And I use pH up for my Sulawesi shrimp. So it's for ponds. But all I do for that whole thing, I think I put 5 drips. So I just flip it over and crack my thumb a little, let it drip 5 times. That's it, stir it up. Now, the pH in there it'll weaken, over a week, 2 weeks or whatever. So just that you're putting in 8.82 every single top off, then that pH stays. It stays. Now, if you're just dumping in TDS or RO, you're just going to dilute it and you're going to dilute the pH down. You'll still have the minerals, but you're going to dilute your pH down, and they need the pH. So that's one of the important things when it comes to Soloasis. I don't know. I was told when they were sent to me a long time ago. I think I've had them for about 4 years, 3-4 years. I keep my stuff for a long time. The ones I really enjoy that I think are just incredible, I keep. Well, I was always told that, they make a shrimp, a blue ghost. I was told when they were sent to me to watch because they have the blue ghost gene, meaning that they can have blue ghost babies because they have the blue in them. Well, guess what I got 4 years later? I have one blue ghost in there, and it is the coolest thing ever. So I'm hoping, which I'm pretty much sure it's a male. So I'm hoping he just goes around and starts diddling with everyone in there. And I can get that gene going in there and explode it and get, let's say 10 of them going. And then I could start a 5-gallon with just the blue ones in there. Because I was told back then that they were like $250 a piece. So, yeah, I don't know if it's true, but it's cool to finally have those shrimp kick out a different color that they've never kicked out a different color in 4 or 5 years that I've owned them. Not a one. And now after all this time, it spit out a blue one. And that's when they told me to watch for. So now that I have one, hopefully he's got really dominant genes and it's a male. Hopefully he's got real dominant genes. And as he breeds in there, I'm going to start getting more. I mean, I would hate for him to be the only one and he lives his whole life, dies, and there's no more, because that kind of sucks. But that's why I never get rid of those, because I think if I had to get rid of any shrimp, I can only keep one shrimp. I get rid of everything. It'd be the Soloasis. It's the only ones I keep. There's just something about them. Their white paws or their little glove paws. The colors on them are sick. They are identical twins every time they come out. Their colors are the same. Their spots. They're not born with no white mitts and, no spots on this one and one white mitt on this. They don't have bad genes. They're just incredible shrimp. And I would get rid of everything before I got rid of those. That's what I keep out of everything. If I could choose one thing, I keep those solo AC shrimp because they're just the coolest. And you could keep 100 of them in a 5-gallon tank. They love being slammed together. I sold 10 to a guy one time. He put them in I think it was a 50-gallon tank. I said, I came and seen him because I told him, put them in a 5-gallon tank. Came to see him about a week later. I said, hey, how are those fish doing? Or how are those shrimp doing? He took me over to the tank. He's like, bro, I need you to see this. I said, see what? He's like, I can't find them. I said, why can't you find them? He said, I don't know. He's like, I put them in this tank and I can't see them anywhere. Can you see them? I said, you put them in what tank? And I'm staring at this huge tank. He's like, this tank. I said, bro, you killed them. He's like, how did I kill them? I said, bro, I told you they need to be jammed together. They love to tighten it. They want everyone super close together. They're like a schooling shrimp. You don't see it. I mean, they'll be around the tank, but it's just that safety of being around each other that close. They want that security. So having them in a 5-gallon, like a decked out 5-gallon, pimp. And then just, do your water changes here and there. But the biggest thing, top off, RO, and make sure your pH is good. You can get solo AC salt. I keep mine in tap water. So, but to get my TDS from, I think my tap water is like 102. So I put solo AC shrimp salt in there and raise it to 180. So they're getting all those minerals from, Lake Sulawesi. And then I do the pH. So I run it from there. But all my top offs are with RO. I don't top off with tap water in that tank. It's just not needed. I'd rather do it this way and just, because tap water is not going to drop. It's not going to dilute the TDS because it's got stuff in it. It's got, all that stuff in it. So I don't want to put that in. And it doesn't matter what anyone says. Fish and shrimp sound like we're at a restaurant. Fish and chips. They like a certain water quality. They like their hardness to be their KH, their GH, their pH, ammonia, anything. They like it to be in a certain area. Certain fish want no ammonia. I mean, it could kill them, burn their scales, burn their skin. It can wipe them out. Some fish, you can have some in there and let the plants just take care of everything. Shrimps, all sorts of that. I hear stories of people say, I keep my shrimps in the hardest water there is. Oh, and they thrive. It's probably not a lie. I mean, there's a good chance you'd keep neocaridina and all sorts of water parameters. I mean, I keep them in solo AC water parameters. I don't put them in there to have them breed because they're not in there for that. I keep them in caridina water parameters, and they will have babies in there. But caridina won't have babies in neocaridina water parameters. So, hold on. You sold the Vatos Socos? Oh, no, I didn't sell it. It's right there, homie. My buddy likes this sign. Let me turn it on for him. Oh, yeah. But, the water parameters will show you like Fish will be a certain color. They won't color up, or they'll color up. Same thing with shrimp. Same thing with everything. It'll show stress on an animal. You name it, it can happen. So the only thing that I would say is, let's say you have super hard water. Just be patient with whatever you're putting in that water. If you have real soft water, just be patient what you're putting in that water. Meaning that if they come from mine, mine's like a 102, let's say to 105 max TDS. And let's say yours is 350. Well, you take my shrimp home, you drip acclimate them, get them ready, and then you put them in your tank, and 3 weeks later, still nothing. You're like, they're not doing nothing. They're not doing nothing. Well, it could take them quite a while. It could take them 6 months to get used to that. But it's all that's all it comes down to, is the amount of time it takes for them to feel comfortable, and for their exoskeleton to adjust to it, because the hardness is good for their shell, so much, but they just have to get used to everything. And then I'm sure the females, it's all got to be, to where they're, able to, carry those amount of eggs with a harder shell. I don't know how. I'm just trying to guess of what it would be, but just don't think it's going to happen overnight. It'll happen, but you just can't do it overnight, unless you have some, Superman water that, which I think I have more than anything, because they just breed like rabbits. And actually they breed more than rabbits. So when it comes to it, just take your time, drip acclimated into it, and everything will be great. It really will. Nothing, nothing bad will happen. Like I said, if one dies, take it out, do a small water change. But if you were in there the day before goofing around and moving stuff around and fixing this and moving plants, there's a good chance you did it. I mean, you could have hit a shrimp. I don't know how many times I've done that. You hit a shrimp, you crush a shrimp underneath something. You could drop a piece of wood on it, a shell, a rock, anything. But yeah, do a water change when you ever find something that, even if it's got the pink head, I had a shrimp die, had a pink head. It's just dead. I mean, yeah, it could mean bacterial, but if you don't put nothing in your tank, it's just dead. I mean, shoot somebody in the head on the street. I'm sure their head will turn pink or red. It's just going to mean they're dead. But yeah, don't freak out. And before you go to medications and all that stuff, water change. And then for those who may get ick, I had a new not a customer, but my buddy's, I met someone at my buddy's store. He was having an issue with some stomach stuff and some ick. So, not everyone knows, just crank your heat up to 80, 82, and put salt in there, aquarium salt. And that usually should knock it out. Just read how much you should put in per gallon. I think I used to I used to have like this plastic cup from the pet store, and it weighed out to what you're supposed to put in per gallon. So like when I had the discus, when I was breeding those, you'd have to put salt in all the time. Plus I put salt in just to help with their slime coat, because salt is good in a tank, for fish, small amounts. If you just put in a couple little pieces, it'll help, with the slime coat and any kind of, sicknesses, external sicknesses and internal, for those animals. So, but yeah, ick and some of those like that, high temp, salt, and more or less not much of anything. Oh, you fucker. Hold on. Are you freaking kidding me? Get the fuck out of here. There. These filters are so strong. I fed them green beans last night, and there's 2 green beans sucked. These filters have 2 areas that they can take water, and they could take it at the waters at the top, and they could take it in the bottom in the tube. Well, I have them set to where they take like 90% at the bottom. Well, still that top part pulls water in also, and so it got stuck there. So yeah, I just that one over there is going to need cleaned anyways. Probably I'll do it tomorrow after I come home from work. But remember, right? I was just looking up your RO pump. It should have a high pressure switch in it. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I was told that it did have a high pressure switch in it, but not for nothing. I just get scared. I don't want that water all over my house. I've done it I don't know how many times, and to get a dirty look from my wife, yeah, it's too many times. It's once, it's you can shrug it off. 2, maybe giggle. 3 times, it's like, oh boy, I better change. So I just got back home. Aqua bowls, saltwater aquarium salt is good because it has high pH for corals. I use that for freshwater. See? Buddy, 29 and 30 tanks are on new rack. I'm changing the airline tonight. Oh, you going to Black Airline? Now, are you getting high and doing your airline tonight? Is that going to be part of the stream? Because if it is, I'm going to laugh my butt off. I'll be there. Everyone watch Aqua Balls tonight. He's going to blow that big old hookah pipe where no one can see. You need to let people see you. Hearing you smoke is one thing, but watching you smoke that big, huge hookah pipe and with the 12 pounds of that hashish up in there, or is it not hashish? Oh, medical. I'm sorry. Aqua Balls. You know what I really want to do is, with these these containers. I don't know if you guys saw a long time ago, Jason from Jadrin Aquatics. He's got that guy. I want to say he's a Hispanic guy. He's the one who breeds all the guppies. Well, the guy's stupid smart, right? Is that like a pseudonym or something? He's real smart. And what he does is he takes these bins and like he puts the females in and they push out all their babies and he takes them out and he grows them up in these bins, the little itty bitty fry. Well, then when they get big enough, he takes them out, but he just leaves them in these bins and he stacks them one this way, one this way, one this way, one this, and he could have a stack of like 6. Well, think of that. That's like 6 tanks just sitting there letting itty bitty fry grow up. So I'm trying it. So far I have 2 that have hatched in there. I have my malachite blue in there to keep any fungus down on the eggs. And if I see any, I'll take them out. But I'm going to try that because if I can do that, because that's one thing with CPDs is the babies are so sensitive. If the water moves too much, it'll kill them. Because they're not strong enough to swim. So they want like literally no water movement at all. If I put them in a catch cup and leave it up there for a week, they'll all be in there. Let's say there's 40 of them. They'll be in there all week. But if I am in a tank, you could see 15 one day and come back next day and only see 10, or see 6, and it's like, man, it's like, water, the movement's too fast or, your sponge filter's go and you barely move anything. But let's say out of 15, you get 9 that survive and get really fat. Well, those are the strongest out of all of them, right? But see, the thing is, I don't want to lose any of them. So I'm trying the tub thing, and I have, I don't know, maybe 10 tubs and a few thinner ones. So I just figure the lower the water is best for them, because they don't need to swim. Fry don't need to swim up and down. The lower the water, the better. Because if they have to swim all the way up to get food or anything like that, current and stuff, they get tired. And they might only want to come up halfway, and now they're tired and they can't get to the food or whatever, if it's not coming down, what have you. So if you can keep them in the thinnest amount of water, the lowest amount of water, that's better. So if I have them in a 13.5 or a 10-gallon tank, what is that, 12 inches high? And they start on the bottom, they hatch, and then they stick to the glass, and then they got to come up and, what have you. And so now they got to come out, it's hard for a fish that can't swim that well. So now I'm going to try these little tubs and see how the little tubs do. And if I can leave them in there and to the point to where they're eating baby brine, like if I put baby brine in there and all their stomachs get full of it, then I can move them out. I can move them out, put them in the big tank, because they're to that point now where they can survive and eat, because I feed baby brine in there probably 4 days out of the week. So, it's all good. So we're going to run it like that and try it like that and see what the hookup does for that. So, but yeah, over there, the plecos are good. They're all past that scared point of, how are they going to do? Because like I said, they're eating green beans now. They're eating the little, this stuff that I put in there. Bug Pro by Northfin. They're an incredible company. Their food is just incredible. Everything like this. It's super high in all the good stuff. Black soldier fly larvae is the first one. I really like that a lot. But, whole Antarctic krill meal, it's just got a lot of, herring. I know it's all meal. They're fillers, but then sardines, organic kelp, spirulina, garlic, and and then Northfin, my flake food, starting to get low. I got to fill it again, but this thing is filled with the 2 flavors of Northfin flake food, and I put it together, I break it up, and that's what I feed my fish. And the tubs on that were $40 a piece. So a tub of one flavor is 40 and the other tub's $40. So, I feed really good foods. It's not going to change anything when you guys buy the animals. It's just, they just went from steak to peanut butter and jelly. That's all, But the thing is my whole thing is I have to get them to you guys as the healthiest, and then you take it from there. It's like buying a puppy. You buy a super healthy puppy, and it's up to you to keep it alive. So that's just how we want to do it here. Give you the upper hand, to where you have the most positive outcome, to where you're not going, God, something's going to go wrong or this or that. We're trying to cover all bases here, to where we're feeding, some of the easiest things that you can get. You can't, if you can't afford something, you can go to the store and get you a little can of green beans, French cut green beans. They're only 69 cents compared to a $20 can of something at the pet store for fish. You can feed your plecos that, and your shrimp will eat it too. So you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and they'll both be super, super, super healthy eating it. Like I said, I heard one of the biggest name guys say one day, why would you feed your shrimp vegetables? Do they eat vegetables in the wild? Well, my thing is, all the processed shrimp food that's made, do they eat that in the wild? No. So why can't they eat vegetables? Why wouldn't they want to eat vegetables? They eat rotten leaves and, plants that are rotted and everything. That's all green. So why can't they eat green beans? It's a bean, and it's mushy and it's easy for them to eat. So that's what always gets me. Why would you feed them that? That's not in the wild. Well, it's not a freaking cheeseburger. It's a vegetable. So you feed cucumbers to plecos. You feed, all sorts of weird stuff to plecos. And they grow and grow and grow. But you don't get that in the wild. So why would you do that? Why would you feed, shrimp lollies to shrimp. That ain't in the wild. All this stuff, it's just kind of crazy questions that some people put out there. And the one person I really respect a lot, so I don't even put the person's name out there. It's just, questions are questions, I guess, at times. I just picked up 2 ounces of herbs for the next 2 weeks. Oh, nice. Yes, of course. I'm getting high after dinner. Sushi is dinner tonight. Oh, nice. We had chicken noodle soups. Yep. Got a real bad sinus infection in my ear and my face. My son's got something. He ain't feeling good. I don't get it. I never get sick. And this is well, so far it's nothing. It's just some bad sinus stuff. But I got sick real bad this year. So. But so remember, we have our new phone number. I posted it up there earlier. I will post it again. It is 734. I have to look until I get used to it. And remember, I have 2 lines on my phone now. So if you call it or if you just text it, I'll get it on this phone. It is 928. Oops. 928. 8880. All right, there it is. Put that number, Motor City Aquatiks, put that number in your phones. And you need anything from me, CPDs, plecos, shrimpolas, you can just text my phone. It'd be a lot better than calling because I won't answer. I will not answer because with this business number, I don't know who you are. So just messaging me is the best way to go. And I could call you back or just text you back if I'm working, whatever. Oh, no, I didn't say that. Juan, I didn't say that. I do not text while I work. My business agent partner comes on here once in a while. I don't need him ever thinking that I text and work because I do not do that at all. But maybe on break or, coffee or lunch, we can do that and, see what you need. Or if you have questions, if you're having problems with your tanks in any way whatsoever. I've been doing tanks since I was, I don't know. I think my father got our first tank with their goldfish when I was like 9 years old. So I know all the accidents that we did to kill everything. And I know the accidents that are done today to kill everything. So I have a lot of answers. I just don't always bring it up on the channel. So, but yeah, all right, we're going to get off of here for the night. And I'm sure somebody's going to come on after. I know Aquaballs. If you're not subscribed to Aquaballs yet, please subscribe to him and watch him get high and build some goofy, some incredible fish tank some fish tank stands. See if he has to cut them 12 times today. Oh, he's only doing airlines tonight, so he might cut that stuff too short or too long. There will always be some excuses, but that's what makes it funny. But yeah, if you have not hit the like button, please do that. The thumbs up, hit the subscribe if you have not subscribed, and share this out to your friends and family. If you know anyone that would like this type of content, please send them on over. We got to get our watch hours up also to 4,000 so we can get monetized. But okay, everyone, until next time, please stay shrimpy. I haven't used that one in a while. Stay sushi. Get your pets vaccinated, spayed and neutered, and you're the next contestant on The Price is Right. All right, everybody, take care. Like I said, reach out, leave a comment, hit thumbs up 1,000,000 times, hit subscribe 1,000,000 times, tell your friends, tell your folks, and anyone in here, go check out their channels too, because they are incredibly funny. They have incredible channels. And some of them, Tropic, need to start making more videos. And for new people that have just come in here tonight that I have not seen before, Scissernino. I don't even want to Aliveria. We'll leave it at that. Thank you for showing up. It was very nice to see you. Fathom Aquatics 7399. And still in you hopped in here and said hello. All right, everyone. Thank you very much. Have a beautiful Saturday night. And if you go to church tomorrow, say hello for me. All right. Peace out. See you next week. Bye. Bye, some bitch.